Ariel Helwani, our favorite character, our favorite May reporter, Ariel Helwani. You know, he came after Brendan Schaub pretty hard in this segment today. He was responding to how they responded to him and the fact that Brendan Schaub and Bryan Callen never actually mentioned Ariel Helwani by name. I guess that's just how they kind of project and how they kind of protect their image a little bit. They want to make it seem like they're bigger than Ariel, so they don't have to mention his name, and they make it seem like they don't want to mention his name so that he doesn't gain any more publicity from that, and more views and stuff like that. But everybody knows who they're talking about. Every viewer knows who Brendan Schaub and Bryan Callen are talking about. They even put in the title journalist beef, and everybody that's watched this video has watched the other video, and everybody knows who they're talking about. And anybody that doesn't know who they're talking about, they will know who they're talking about because they'll just look in the comment section and they'll know straight away. So, I think it's pretty weak from Brendan Schaub and Bryan Callen. Their response was very weak. It wasn't even a good response. It was a terrible response. Just terrible. Like, Bryan Callen doesn't want Brendan Schaub to go after Ariel too much because then Ariel's gonna go after the fact that Bryan Callen has many sexual assault allegations from multiple different women. So that's something to consider. And then Brendan Schaub, he's hated by everybody. No one likes the guy. Just go to his Instagram page or go to any of his videos and look in the comment section. And then you'll know that nobody likes the guy. And then if you even go to the Fighter and the Kid Reddit, then you'll see that nobody likes Brendan Schaub. Nobody likes Bryan Callen. No, Bryan Callen actually seems like a better person. Nobody likes Brendan Schaub. Bryan Callen is just Bryan Callen. The thing is about those sexual assault allegations. To be honest, nobody really cares because if you look at the Chris D'Elia situation, he's a pedophile and he's groomed people before. But he's still walking around making more YouTube videos, making more money. So, that sexual assault allegation thing is kind of blown up because people don't care. I care. I think that he's a piece of shit and he shouldn't be supported. But that's me. Most people don't care. If you go to Chris D'Elia's YouTube channel, then you'll see that many of the people in his YouTube channel are supporting him, saying, "Oh, it's okay, Chris. You're human. People make mistakes, but he's grooming children and he's a pedophile and he's okay. Like, you're fine with that." And they're okay with that. People's fans, and when you create a cult-like following, your fans are going to protect you no matter what because you're like a god to these people. So, that definitely seems true. And when you read the 48 Laws of Power, playing on people's need to believe and creating a cult-like following, it's really, really tells you how things are. Kind of puts things into perspective. Now, with Ariel Helwani, he's a sports journalist, MMA guy. His credibility in the sport is unquestionable, because the guy has been putting in so much work over the past couple of years. He's been doing MMA for the past 15 years and he's definitely put in that work. So I think he deserves to interview these fighters because the amount of work he's put in is just insane. He's a journalist, a legit one. He went to school for that and he graduated with a degree, and that's good. I like Ariel. I think he's definitely good for the sport. I don't like Brendan Schaub because he's just an overall arrogant, narcissistic person. He lies constantly. He doesn't treat people very well. He cheats on his wife constantly. That's not something that I care about, but that kind of tells you about his character. He inflates stuff. He's just a liar. He's not very likable. There's just so many things about Brendan Schaub that you just don't like the guy. Nobody likes him, really. Nobody likes him. And the only reason he was successful was because Rogan gave him a silver platter, and then he was able to move that silver platter and make it a success. So that's a good thing. But Brendan's success is not something that he's cultivated on his own. You know, people gave him a leg up, a huge leg up. Joe Rogan gave him a leg up, and you know, yeah, he did. He gave him a huge leg up. It's crazy, you know. People think that there's another thing. And that's another thing that I learned about in the 48 Laws of Power. You know, when you give people a position, they always feel like they need to tell themselves that they got that position out of their own merit. They need to believe to themselves that they were given that position based on their merit, based on their ability, based on their skill. But in reality, Brendan Schaub was not given those positions based on merit. He was given based on his connections. And that kind of breeds resentment to the original person that gave you what you have. And I feel like secretly, Brendan Schaub definitely resents Joe Rogan because Joe gave him that position, and now he feels that he's entitled to everything that comes with that. But no, Joe is never gonna have Brendan on his podcast for the time being, for now. If you look at Joe Rogan's podcast, when's the last time Brendan was on there? It's been a while, you know? It's been a long while. You know, I don't think he's going to be on there for another while because of these things and because of the reasons I just outlined. And, you know, Ariel made jokes about Brendan's comedy special and how it's only got 1.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Ariel really hit all the points today. You know, he really, really hit all the points today. You know, he didn't go too deep because Ariel said that he's never going to make it personal. He's never going to cross that line. He has lines he doesn't cross. And Brendan went after Ariel's livelihood and his family because that's how he provides for his family and puts food on the table for them, is by doing what he does online and being a journalist. And Brendan came after that. Brendan tried to attack his character. He tried to attack Ariel's integrity. He tried to say that Ariel's not a very good person to work with, blah blah blah. And it's just attacking him, and now Ariel's coming back, and that's what he's doing, and it's just becoming a war. And Ariel's basically declaring war against Brendan and Bryan Callen. He invited them over to come to the studio in New York, and I think Brendan kind of thought that Ariel will be intimidated by that suggestion. He thinks that Ariel will be intimidated by Brendan saying that he would come to New York. I mean, come on. What are you going to do to him? Fight him? Beat him up in his studio? Like, Brendan talks a good game, but in reality, he's not going to touch Ariel. Like, he can't. If he does touch him, that's a huge lawsuit, and Brendan's going to have to pay him big time. So there's no way he touches him, because if he does, then that's a huge lawsuit, and then Ariel gets paid big time. Or he doesn't say anything and he gets verbally destroyed. So it's a lose-lose for Brendan. I just don't. Or he can go the cordial route, and actually show up and just be respectful and try and then just clear things up and let it die out once and for all, and apologize and do the right thing and apologize. Which Brendan's not gonna do that. We all know that he's not gonna do that. The only thing he's gonna do now is probably ignore it. He's probably gonna ignore it, or he's going to make another response video for views, and not mention his name and do the same shit and just drink alcohol with Bryan Callen at 9 a.m. So yeah, I mean, those are his likely options. I mean, he's not gonna go to the studio. He's not gonna go and talk to Ariel online on the internet. No, he's not gonna do any of those things. He's just gonna ignore it, or he's gonna make a video again, not mentioning Ariel's name or mentioning his name, and then just not even addressing the situation properly because Bryan's scared that Ariel's gonna unearth his sexual allegations past. So his past sexual, transgressions with multiple different women. Yeah, that's kind of sad, but that's just the way the world works. Even pedophiles get supported on the internet, which is crazy to me. Like, people like Chris D'Elia getting support, Bryan Callen's getting support. Man, it's kind of steep to me, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm out.